Hello, it's Sheila, the Grateful Goddess, and I am super excited to introduce you to Tatiana Thompson. She is also a life coach, and she specializes in stressed out mothers.
Yeah.
And so I thought, what a perfect person to bring on and take this free experiment to the next level. So we are over 3 months into this program, and I hope you are feeling absolutely fantastic. And you are just letting the worry and stress just rinse right off of you. It's not even getting into your system anymore. However, if you're not, we are taking it up a notch and giving you, now that you've got all the basics, here's some more advanced tools and techniques that you can use. So Tatiana's going to introduce us to tapping, also called emotional freedom technique. And let's just start before you actually walk us through the process. What is tapping? And I know that there's science behind it and all that, but the most basic, what do we need to know what it is and how it works?
Perfect. So, well, thank you again for having me here,
Yeah.
Sheila. So tapping really is harnessing acupressure points on the body to disrupt the fight or flight response from our amygdala. So it helps us get rid of anxiety, fear, even just subconscious blocks that we have. It's been used in treatment for even depression, a lot with post-traumatic stress disorder these days. And you'd be amazed what you can apply it to that helps you just kind of move through something that you kind of keep getting stuck on.
And so by tapping on it, how does it release it?
Really, so it goes back much further than Western science. Well, the acupressure points do.
Sure.
So, but Western science is now starting to see that it's literally disrupting this response in the amygdala and reducing cortisol levels in the blood.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Anything else we need to know, or should we just jump right in?
Let's jump right into it.
Okay. We'll go through and we'll actually go through, releasing any worry, stress, anxiety, and know that you can apply this to whatever your special situation is. Like you can just change the words, but there's certain set words that will help guide you towards what's going to really help. So
yes, perfect. So that's a great segue. You can apply this to anything that's causing you distress. If you're angry, if you're fearful, if you're exhausted, feeling overwhelmed. I get that a lot with my moms. They're overwhelmed. They need to shut things down for a minute because they can't get a moment to themselves. So that's a great way to think about it. I think for the purposes of an example, let's pretend like we're having some deep anxiety, even if it's just a general anxiety, this feeling of nervousness. So what you always want to do is say, okay, what is the problem? Acknowledge what the problem is. I'm feeling really anxious right now. And you're going to create a setup statement that says both, I feel very anxious right now, even though I feel anxious right now. And then you have a positive affirmation behind it. And it's usually something to the effect of, but I choose to love and accept myself completely. Or I choose to trust in my higher power, or both. I typically do it on both. And as we do that, we're going to say that, let me step back a moment. We want to assess the intensity of this feeling at this moment, just to give us kind of an objective idea of where we get from the beginning to the end of our efforts. So in the beginning, think to yourself, okay, I'm feeling so anxious. On a scale of 0 to 10, where am I at? 0 meaning it doesn't bother me, 10 is I can't take this, it's too much. So find that number for yourself. And then we're going to literally tap on different parts of our body as we go through this. You start with what's called the karate chop point. It's that fleshy area on the outside of the pinky. And 2 to 3 fingers on usually your dominant hand is what you like to tap with. You'll start tapping there, and for three rounds, you're going to say, even though I have this anxiety, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling so anxious right now, I choose to completely love and accept myself and to trust in my higher power. Even though I don't know how I'm going to handle this anxiety, I completely love and accept myself. And then we ignore the karate chop point from now on. We're going to go straight to the top of our head, the crown of our head, and again use those 2 to 3 fingers and start tapping anywhere from 5 to 7 times. At least 7 times is really the idea. And say, God, I feel so anxious. We move to the inner eyebrow where the bone is right here. this anxiety is just too much for me right now. And we usually do this out loud because it helps keep you focused on the issue instead of your mind wandering onto something else. We go to the outer bone on the outside of your eye here. Do it again. This anxiety is completely overwhelming. And then we move to the lower bone under your eye. And again, repeat. This anxiety, oh, I can feel it in my stomach. Maybe finding where it is in your body. And then between your nose and your lips. Yep, I can still feel it. I feel it building up in my throat right now, this anxiety. And then right here between the lip and the chin. Again, oh, this anxiety. And then we're moving into the collarbone area. So the two bones right here, you're actually kind of diagonally move out into the crevice underneath them. So either side, you can, and actually I like that you're doing that. You can do both sides anytime you want to for all of these points. And sometimes when you're really angry, it feels good. A little firm there.
Yeah.
So, go through that point. Oh, this anxiety is so overwhelming. And then we go to the under part of our arm. And then you can just stop right there if you want. Take a deep breath and reassess at this point. Where am I at from 0 to 10 on feeling this anxiety? Me personally, I typically go through a few rounds because I'll find maybe I've brought it down to a 4, but I want it lower than that. I want it a 1 or a 0 before I walk away. So I can just keep going. And one of the beautiful things is, as I'm going, I will process, why am I anxious? What's triggering me right now? My kids are yelling in the back seat. I have to cook dinner as soon as I get home. I have homework to do. I don't know how I'm going to prepare for that meeting tomorrow. My partner isn't helping with anything. Whatever it is that's coming up for you, you're processing it. And then, usually if you continue doing it this way, again, remember, you can stop after one round if you want. But as you continue doing this, you'll typically start to feel a shift in yourself where it's just not so intense and it's not as easy to find what you're upset about anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll kind of find some solutions or some acceptance of the situation. Even though the kids are screaming in the back seat, you're able to filter it out now. Even though you need to cook dinner, you have found a simpler solution to that. All of those things, there's solutions presenting themselves. Or you feel like your partner hasn't been helpful enough, well, you just thought of a way to ask your partner for more help. So you'll kind of find that those things come to you. And then when you feel like you've processed enough, you just take a big deep breath. You can always go back to your karate chop point and say something to the effect of, even though I've been feeling so anxious, I know everything's working out for me and I choose to love and accept myself completely. And end your session there.
And done.
Yeah, so you can do this at work, in the bathroom if you need to. Yeah. I do it in the car a lot. It's very helpful.
And so you're left-handed.
I am, yes.
So it's totally fine that I switched after I realized I was just copying you, but I'm right-handed, so it's whatever feels right.
And it's typically your dominant hand is what feels right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, you can double up if you need to on these double points.
Wonderful. Thank you, my dear.
My pleasure.
So that is it. Go ahead, practice, see how it's working for you, and then drop me a line. Let me know what sort of comments, ahas, or big revelations that you have from this tapping experience. Thanks so much. We'll catch you later. Everyone.